Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. The mother of Jesus and his brothers arrived at the house. Standing outside, they sent word to Jesus and called him. A crowd seated around him told him, "Your mother and your brothers and sisters are outside asking for you." But he said to them in reply, "Who are my mother and my brothers?" And looking around at those seated in the circle, he said, "Here are my mother and my brothers. For those who do the will of God is my brother and sister and mother." The Gospel of the Lord.
This morning I was thinking back to a time when we celebrated Thanksgiving at our house, and my parents always managed to find someone or some people who didn't really have any place to go for Thanksgiving. They're like, without a family. And so we'd always have these other guests at the meal who would become happily incorporated in our family. And there's, through one of those experiences, someone that my sister brought to Thanksgiving one day, I have a friendship that's been maintained for some 35 years with this guy. And this is what we're talking about, the gathering of a family. The Holy Trinity is a family between three persons. It's the model of all families. The Holy Trinity is the Father, the Son, and the Spirit gathering into a unified family. And you see in the book of Samuel here today what King David is doing. He's doing what God the Father does. He's being the father of a family. He's introducing the people of Israel not to himself as king. He's introducing the people of Israel to God the Father. He's bringing his children home to the Father. That's what he's doing. And he has this big feast where he has this big procession. I was almost thinking about in the north end of Boston, some big procession with the statues and everything. He's coming down the streets with this big procession with the Ark of the Covenant. He's introducing the family of his nation to God himself, who he's asking them to see as their Father. And there's all this fervor, there's this prayer, there's this literal thanksgiving, and then, strangely enough, he finishes by distributing bread. Did you notice that? What's up with that? And so, Jesus now is in this house, and they're saying, the mother and the brothers of Jesus arrived at the house. And they said, "Your mother and brothers are here." And he says, "Here are my mother and my brothers." Jesus presents himself as the fulfillment of the procession of David that started way back when. Now this procession has arrived with not just the Ark of the Covenant, which did symbolize the presence of God, and they believe contained God, but now God himself in Jesus Christ is in the middle of his family, presenting himself as the chief of his family, raising his whole family to his Father. And he places himself in the middle of the family the way he places himself in the middle of this family at every Mass, at the altar, body, blood, soul, and divinity. And all of us get to play the part of David as we are nurtured to lead all of our families into this procession, to come around the altar and worship Jesus Christ and place him as the center of our Eucharistic family. And so in our age or in our youth were nurtured in what it is to be responsible for a procession that brings all families into the one family of Jesus Christ, consummated at the Eucharist, which is where we see Jesus today.
Regina Celi, letare, alleluia, qui aquam meruisti portare, alleluia, resurrexit sicut dixit, alleluia.